I'm Michele Zaragoza, team leader, Keller Williams, and I have Jake DaRosa here on the line, and I'm really excited about this. This is my first interview in this new position over here, and I just wanted to say hello, and I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, been in business, been doing this since '02. So I started in mortgage, spent 10 years in mortgage. This kind of came out of necessity back in '08 when the market really changed.
Yes, it did.
We said we needed to find a way to do more income and bring more revenue to the company. So we brought real estate, and then that's kind of when I found my passion. And about 2012, I moved to KW, and it's that's been my journey. And let's see, back in 2016, we partnered with Place and been building a team. Over the last couple of years, we've done helped over 200 families buy and sell real estate. And
that's amazing. Okay, Jake, but you have a choice. You have a choice of being at KW, and you also have a choice of going having a little boutique office, if you will. Why do you choose Keller Williams rather than opening up your own place?
I guess I'd say I think we're all leaders of some point, leaders of ourselves, leaders of our community, leaders of our church, leaders of our families. And there's a point of leadership loneliness where you're not going to get the interaction. You're not going to get the masterminding. You're not going to get the things that, say, a Keller Williams really collaboration, really focus on in their culture. And when I joined Keller Williams, I actually was going to a mastermind at that point where they were sharing everything they were doing. And my business, I was like, holy smokes, I don't even know any of this. And so that was a huge thing. And that's what I loved about KW at that point, is just that piece of collaboration is huge. And the mindset of there's plenty of business for everybody to have some.
Right.
And the more you're successful, kind of like with what we do on the team, everyone's really focused on helping each other, because we know with the more sticks we have in the ground, if you would, listings, the more market share, the easier it is for everyone.
Love it. Thank you so much. Okay, as a top producer, what are you doing different right now to get the listings?
So here's the thing is I've always been a believer, because right now the reason we have such light inventory is most people who are listing their houses, they got to go buy as well, right? And so really just focusing from a consultative approach as far as seeing if it makes sense, because I've always had the belief that two things have to happen if someone's going to buy a home. One is that it needs to make financial sense for them, right? That's obviously, you don't want to be house poor. I've been house poor. And two, it improves their living situation, whether it's an upsize, downsize, sideways size, whatever, right? It improves. So really just sitting down and coming from a consultative approach with them. And one thing to get that sit down conversation, you really have to know your market really well. I think a good buddy of mine, Ryan Lundquist. If you aren't following Ryan Lundquist, please follow him. Greatest market knowledge guy. But one of the things he said is that, I saw it in a blog this week, the national weather isn't the local weather. And that was such a good conversation, because it's the same thing with the market. Remember that the market outlets, they talk about the national real estate market in a different way than it really is here. So knowing your numbers here versus what the national news outlets are saying is super important. So if a seller said to me, you know what, gosh, I don't want to sell right now, the market's terrible, well, I could push back and argue with him saying, oh gosh, we're seeing multiple offers or this and that. However, one thing is when you argue with someone, they dig in deeper and it doesn't go anywhere, right? So what I rather say is have my market data down and say, hey, you know what, gosh, totally understand the local news is much different that we're seeing here locally in our market. And in fact, we do the numbers every week, and there's only 1.2 months worth of inventory in your price point of your listing. In addition to that, 56% of the homes that received an offer actually received more than one. Why don't we do this? Let's take a look at the numbers, see if it makes sense. And if it does make sense, we can continue the conversation. If not, at least I'll have an idea. I've learned a little bit more about you, and we'll have a plan moving forward. So that's the different conversations
I
that we're
really
having.
love that approach. That is amazing. That's a huge nugget. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Is there something else that you can share with us that you can just tell us that is so good? It's such a great nugget that we're going to walk away with something very exciting that's going on.
Yeah. My favorite, I guess I'd call a script, and it's just a kind of a common sense script. So when someone says, hey, you know what, Jake, I don't want to buy, or I don't want to sell, or whatever. Hey, you know what, Michelle, by then I've hoped that I've gotten to their motivation and things like that. And I might say this instead. I might say, hey, totally get it. Hey, Michelle, let me ask you something. If we were able to find a home that got you into Fair Oaks so you can be closer to your work, you could also be closer to your family, and it made really good financial sense to you, you'd want me to put that in front of you, wouldn't you? Right.
Like that.
And then only the unmotivated are going to say no. And you can even layer on, and it checked all the boxes you were looking for you and your family. You'd want me to put that in front of you, wouldn't you? And then if they say no, they're unmotivated, you can just kind of go away. And if they say yeah, then that conversation is, hey, let's just get together. Let's have a Zoom call really quickly, and let's have a conversation around that. Same thing for sellers. Hey, if I could sell your house and help you get to Texas to get closer to this, and we could net you the amount of money you were looking for, I mean, you'd want to see that plan, right? Same thing. If then,
like that.
then that.
So, okay. So this morning I was on a coaching call with somebody, and I was coaching them, and they were saying, they asked me, what is a good script for when you can see people are looking at your command or whatever system that you're using, and you can actually just pick up the phone and just start calling your database, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate, right? Mm-hmm. So what is the script that you use when you're calling your database?
Yeah. So if I was looking, and we have a similar thing, is you could see who's looking at what, right? So I am a big believer of open-ended questions. That's my jam. That's what I do. So we use a script called LP Mama. It stands for location, price, motivation, agency, mortgage, and then appointment. So the first conversation, or the first question I might ask you, is you answer the phone, and I'll script it with you really quickly if you want me to.
Okay.
All right.
I'm ready.
Ring.
Hello.
Hey, Michelle, this is Jake with the DaRosa Real Estate Team. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, Jake. Thanks so much for calling.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, quick question. I saw you were on our website, and I saw you were looking at homes over there in Fair Oaks.
Yes.
Was that specifically the area you were looking in, or were you open to other areas as well?
Well, I was looking in that area, but I am open to other areas just because everything's kind of so close.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So curious, Fair Oaks is an incredible area. What's bringing you this way? Where you living now? Your job?
My job. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So how far is your travel? It sounds like you have a pretty far commute right now. How far is that?
I do. It's over an hour, but I kind of like it because it gives me some time to think and make phone calls.
Think tank, right? Yeah, absolutely. Now, I saw also, Michelle, and I'm going to go down a motivation train there at that point. Like, also, what would you do with the hour back in your life? And then the next thing is, hey, Michelle, I saw you were looking at that 600,000 to 700,000 mark. Is that kind of the area so I go in and ask a lot of questions, and I ask open-ended questions to where I can then get into conversation. My goal with them is to create rapport quickly and find out their motivation, but do it in a way that isn't like, I've heard some agents, they start asking questions, and it becomes like you're
checking
police.
It off.
Right. Yeah. You're the police. We use what we call reversals, which is Oh, wow, that's a great area. I love Fair Oaks. It's right by, boom. Tell me what's bringing you into that area. And then it becomes more conversational. If there's some advice, I'd probably say talk to people like they're your friends, right? And they should become your friends.
I love it. I love it. That's another great nugget. Okay, so how about this? One more. If
Oh
I
boy.
was new into the business, what would you tell me?
I would say that the biggest thing that I feel that new agents into the business is they get ready to get ready. I need my website to be perfect. I need to learn this. I need to understand the contracts. I need to do all these things. The problem with that is if you have the support with your market from your market center and you have a coach and things like that, that's what they're there for, right? Like, just go do the activity, right? Do the things to get in front of people and talk to them, because you could have the most beautiful website and know the most about contracts than anyone else. But if you don't got anyone visiting your website and you don't have anyone to write a contract for, what's it matter?
Right.
Stop
Right.
getting ready to get ready. Just, our business is what's that saying? It's simple, not easy, right? Our business is simple. We're in the business of having real estate related conversations. And really, even more than that, we're in the business of creating relationships with people, learning about what they're doing, why they're doing it, what's it's going to do for them and their families, and then helping them at the highest level we can. So if I'm not having conversations to learn about those people, how can I really move my business forward?
I like that. That's very, very true, right? You need to do the income producing activities, right? And not mistake the movement for achievement, as they say.
Yep.
So if there's one thing that you would like to share with us right now, what would that be? That I didn't ask you, obviously. Did I just stump you?
No, I'd say any agent at any level, if I were to give one piece of advice, is up your knowledge. And the reason I say that is I would say up your knowledge on the market, up your knowledge on how to talk to people, right? Getting scripts down, having those conversations, asking up your knowledge on questions, what questions you should be asking people. And the reason is because of this is we're in a market, and let's be real transparent, the market, there's going to be a substantially less amount of transactions that happen, right? So there's less transactions that are happening, and there's still a fair amount of agents, right? But you've got to be it's competitive. It's more competitive. So you've got to be better than the next agent. And when I say better, I mean just provide a higher level of service.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And also to our industry, if you look at it, just our world in general, they're moving towards that. They expect more, and
Service.
we need to show up in that way. So that's kind of where I would do a good book for a business book for someone's real estate business around that service topic is Will Guidara, Unreasonable Hospitality, is an incredible book. It's based about his experience and the what's it called, the restaurant industry. And so he ran 11 Madison Park, which is at one point was the #1 restaurant in the world. And so he talks about the different ways that he thought about the business. And we've used a lot of that thing to transition into real estate. So good book to pick up.
I'm going to have to pick that up myself. I appreciate that. Thank you. Caroline Woe suggested the Ritz-Carlton, right? That book was really good to read too, talking about service. And with Keller Williams Luxury, I love the classes and how they are really supportive in the customer service side of it. No matter what level actually of sales price you are, you always want to give the good service.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 100%.
Yeah. All right. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to chat with me a little bit. So thank you so much, and you have a great day. Okay.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.